The first unofficial depth chart for the Washington Commanders has been released just in time before the first preseason game versus the Cleveland Browns this Friday. And I've got 6 takeaways to go over with you guys here in just a second. But before we get into today's list, go ahead, do me a favor, click that thumbs up icon right now to help us out here at the Commanders Report. Really do appreciate all of the support. Now let's start with my first takeaway from this depth chart, which is that Benjamin St-Juste is listed as a starter over rookie Jartavius Martin. Now, I've been having Jartavius listed as the starting slot corner throughout the offseason because I thought that they would play him early because he is such a high draft pick. But in the first depth chart here, Benjamin St-Juste is listed as the CB2, even over rookie Emmanuel Forbes. And this is very interesting to me. Like, Benjamin played fine last year, played quite a bit in the slot down the stretch. Kendall Fuller can also play in the slot a little bit as well. But when I look at a guy like Benjamin St-Juste, somebody that's struggled throughout his career to this point, has had some good moments, has shown some good flashes, and it seems like this coaching staff really does believe in him moving forward. And I think that he's somebody that could absolutely be a contributor to this secondary this year, and it seems like this coaching staff wants him around and they want him in the lineup, at least to start the preseason here, which is very interesting to me. I've been saying throughout training camp that I think that the big competition at this spot is going to be for slot corner, namely between Benjamin St-Juste and rookie Jartavius Martin in the slot. The reason why I say that is that Jartavius was really good in the slot at the University of Illinois. They drafted him early, which makes me think that Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, they wanted somebody that they could really trust in the slot. But another guy that's another option for them in the slot is Kendall Fuller. He played more outside corner last year, and St-Juste got a lot of reps in the slot last year as well as outside. So it'll be interesting to see what Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator, has in store for this cornerback room, how he plans on using these guys, if he's planning on shifting these guys, rotating these guys at the snap and kind of using their versatility is definitely something that I'm keeping my eye on. And of course, the rookie Jartavius Martin is another guy to watch out for. Maybe potentially the reason why they're keeping him lower on this list is because they want him to earn that spot come week 1 versus the Cardinals there when the Commanders play the Cardinals. I think that Jartavius Martin still has a real good shot at winning that slot cornerback position, and Benjamin St-Juste is going to have to prove that he deserves to be on the field in these preseason games, so I'm going to be watching him very closely this weekend and in the weeks to come. Now let me know which corner you think is going to be mostly playing in the slot this year as that slot starter. Will it be Benjamin St-Juste? Give me a BSJ. Do you think it's going to be Kendall Fuller? Give me an KF. Or do you think it's going to be the rookie Jartavius Martin that kind of comes up the depth chart here by the end of the preseason? Give me a JM if you think it's going to be him. This is going to be the pin comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pin question. Then my second takeaway from this depth chart is that Dax Milne was a little bit higher than I expected him to be, and he's over Marcus Kemp, somebody that's coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs, somebody that Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, really likes. But Dax is somebody that was a little bit higher than him on this depth chart. He was listed as the wide receiver 5, to be precise. You got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel as your starters, De'Ami Brown, somebody that's really having a great camp, somebody that's going to be expected to really hit the field quite a bit this season, according to head coach Ron Rivera. But I'm looking at Dax Milne, and he's somebody that's also impressing in camp, and he's definitely earned that wide receiver 5 spot. Now he's got to earn it throughout camp. He needs to earn this roster spot. And then something else that I thought was very interesting is that he is listed as the first team punt returner as well, so he will be the first guy out there for the punt team when the Commanders play the Browns here on Friday night. Now, coming up here, I have a rookie that is falling behind on the depth chart, so stick around to see who that is here in just a second. But first, if you're enjoying the content here on the Commanders Report and you want to become an expert on the 2023 Washington Commanders, this is going to be the place for you. We got preseason coverage for all 3 games, training camp coverage. We're going to be breaking down who gets cut, the final 53-man roster, everything leading up to week 1 of the 2023 season, where we're going to be covering all 17 games of the regular season for this team. So if you want the comprehensive Commanders fan experience, I think this is the place for you, man. It's 100% free. So do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now. My third takeaway here is that rookie center Ricky Stromberg is starting to fall behind on the depth chart, which is a little bit concerning given that you're bringing him in to an offensive line that is really not that great right now, at least on paper. Right, for your starters right now, they list Charles Leno Jr., Sadiq Charles, Nick Gates, Sam Cosmi, and Andrew Wiley. No surprises there. But Ricky Stromberg is listed behind Tyler Larson as the third-string center. And listen, with this kind of talent that's on the offensive line right now, I would hope that a third-round center like Ricky Stromberg could come in and really make a name for himself in camp, and this depth chart is letting me know that he's just not doing that right now. Of course, he was drafted in the third round out of the University of Arkansas. Always thought he was a little bit undersized. He's not a fantastic athlete. Now, I love the effort that he plays with. I like the technique that he plays with as well. So I think eventually he could become a pretty decent starter in the National Football League, but the upside is definitely capped a little bit, in my opinion, when it comes to Stromberg. He's definitely got that hog mentality that you look for in a Commander's offensive lineman, but he's definitely starting to fall behind right now, and because of the lack of talent on this offensive line right now, that's definitely concerning to me. Now, let me know what you guys think about Ricky Stromberg. Will he eventually start a game during the 2023 season? Let me know what you guys think by giving me a yes or no down there in the comments section. Then my favorite UDFA for the Commanders this year, Mitchell Tinsley out of the University of Penn State, or Penn State University, my bad. He's starting the preseason a little bit lower than I thought on the depth chart. I thought he would really show out in camp. I thought he was going to be somebody that really potentially earns himself a roster spot, but this is a very deep wide receiver room here in Washington. Of course, we talked about Dax Milne earlier. You bring in Byron Pringle from the Kansas City Chiefs formerly and with the Chicago Bears. You still got Marcus Kemp that's coming over from the Chiefs, and now, you're really not even on the depth chart right now if you're Mitchell Tinsley. You're not even like a third stringer at this point. And, I compared Tinsley's game to Kendrick Bourne coming out. I thought he was going to get drafted. He's a really good route runner, in my opinion. And I think he's somebody that is definitely going to be a candidate to make the practice squad this year, but definitely that status being a UDFA this year is definitely putting him down the depth chart, at least to start the preseason. So I'm definitely excited to see what he's going to be able to do and see if he can make a splash versus the Browns this weekend. Then we got another undrafted free agent here, Kazmeir Allen out of the UCLA, and I think he's probably the biggest loser out of this entire depth chart for me, because I expected Kazmeir to be somebody that was really seen as a true special teams weapon. I knew he was going to be lower down the wide receiver depth chart, but he was the fourth string punt returner listed on this depth chart. I was expecting him to at least be the second string to really have a shot, but at this point, after OTAs, after mandatory minicamp, and after the first couple weeks of training camp, you're still being listed as the fourth string punt returner. That tells me that you're not really impressing in special teams drills. So Kazmeir was somebody that I thought could potentially make a splash and make the team as a special teams specialist as that punt returner. But I don't think that's going to happen at this point. I don't think he's impressing, and I think that one of my biggest takeaways from this unofficial depth chart is that Kazmeir Allen is probably not going to end up making the roster. So I still got my final takeaway from this depth chart, so you're not going to want to go anywhere. But first, man, you're going to want to check out this awesome t-shirt combo for the Washington Commanders that you can find on the Fanatics website. Use our link, chatsports.com/Commanders combo. The energy around this franchise right now with Josh Harris coming in, Dan Snyder moving on, it's never been higher. Just look at the crowds at training camp right now, selling out every single day. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to be a part of this next era of Washington football, start by getting yourself some new gear here with this t-shirt combo. Use our link, chatsports.com/Commanders combo, to let our friends at Fanatics know that we sent you. Then my final takeaway, I know we all knew this coming in, but it's just nice to see it on a official or unofficial depth chart here. Sam Howell is going to be the QB1 of the Washington Commanders this year. And of course, Sam Howell, he's getting pretty much all the first team reps. Brissett's getting a couple first team reps here and there, but that's just as a precautionary measure by head coach Ron Rivera. We all knew that Sam Howell was going to be the starting quarterback, at least to start the preseason. Now, I still think Howell is going to have to earn every opportunity he gets. I still think Jacoby Brissett, when you put the proper pieces around him, he can be a really good quarterback. Last year, if you believe the sabermetrics, Jacoby Brissett was a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League per snap played, which is very impressive. So Sam Howell is going to have to beat him out. He's going to have to beat out that steady veteran in Jacoby Brissett, and I think he could be a really good player. I think that he's somebody that is a very underrated runner of the football, and I think with this offensive line being the status that it is in terms of run blocking, you're going to want that extra weapon as a runner in the backfield along with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. And I think that his arm strength's really good. I think he has a good deep ball. I think he's put in the work this offseason to fix his footwork inconsistencies and his throwing mechanics, and he's looking pretty decent in camp when he has a clean pocket. But the question is, how often is he going to get that clean pocket, and is he really going to get a real chance to prove his worth to this franchise this year? I certainly hope this offensive line can protect him enough to show what he can do, but I guess we'll just have to see on that front. That'll be it for today's video. Commanders fans, really do appreciate all the support. If you want more NFL content from me on Twitter, you can find me at Jack_Sperry. Right now I'm doing my list of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. I put a new quarterback on there every single day. So if that's the sort of stuff that interests you, go ahead and follow me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. That's going to do it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. I will see you guys later. And as always, hail to the Commanders.